Greetings, people of the internet. Billy Cosmosis, and I'm up early. 10:30 is early for me, trust me. And I'm going to go to a recording session at Eric Quantica's studio with Sonic Species Joe, and we're going through that on the other side of that mountain over there, which you probably can't see with this lens on. So I better go and get my stuff in the car. And the first problem is, this is a normal sized car, and I've got to get that into that. Shouldn't be a problem. I don't call it the TARDIS for nothing. Eric's gonna have to get a better road. Jesus. So here we are, arrived. Should be a good day. Joe's gonna come here in about an hour or something. And Joseph has arrived. Joe. Here we are.
Oh,
The man with the keyboard.
here we are. How's it going? Woo! We're ready to rock. No. The mid bass, you obviously cut the low frequency from the mid bass.
Exactly.
Yeah. Did you take any of the high and the mid from the low bass, or you left that clean?
This is a mid.
Yeah, but the other one, you took some of the high off, or you just left it straight?
I leave it straight.
Nice. So you just did an EQ cut, took some of the low and the low mid off the mid bass, yeah?
Yeah, but if you see, there are not much low in both. The low is generated by the kick.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And actually, we could even, for the mid layer, we could even put some stereo on it as well if we wanted to, couldn't we?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
In the spire, yes.
Oh, nice. Well, that's going to leave more room for the big low kick, isn't it?
Yeah. Here are another spire making weird sound.
Eric, ¿puedes explicarnos cómo trabajas el kick bass? I got it, but that was fucked. Hang on. Eric, ¿puedes explicarnos cómo trabajas el kick bass?
De vuelta, porque explicarnos.
Sorry.
Okay.
Eric.
¿Cómo trabajas?
Eric, ¿puedes explicarnos el kick bass? ¿Y cómo Eric, ¿puedes explicarnos cómo trabajas el kick bass?
You did great, but I can't. Hang on. It's nice that I have, because I cry.
Who are you and what do you do?
I'm Joe Markendale, and I'm a psychedelic trance artist called Sonic Species, and I live in Ibiza, the wonderful island where we are right now.
Cool. What inspired you to get into making trance music?
What inspired me? I mean, it was essentially going to my first real kind of psychedelic underground party was in about, I think it was 2000 or 2001. It was an English party group called Liquid Connective, who I still think to this day have done some of the best parties
Yeah, I
on the
remember
whole
those
planet.
guys. They're awesome.
Awesome. Billy actually played at like the second or third one I went to, and that was also a transformational moment for me, seeing his set, which was incredible.
I'll pay you later, Joe.
Yeah, that's it. I'll stick £20 in the account. And yeah, so basically, no, I went there when I was about 18, stumbled across this incredible, like, diverse party with all these international people in the middle of the forest. You know, one thing led to another, and before I realised it, I'm dancing around to this cutting-edge music that I'd never heard before. I felt like lightning was coming through my body, making me pull all these shapes I didn't even know existed. And we'd been listening to Goa Trance, you know, and having parties in our friends' houses, you know, all that kind of stuff. Listening to Astral Projection, Cosmosis, Hallucinogen, Transwave. That was basically the 4 names that we knew. When we arrived in this Liquid Connective party, the music was different. It was like, I guess, looking back, it was the beginning of when Goa became Psytrance, and you know, it was incredible. So a couple of parties like that, and I was just hooked on it. And someone gave me a cracked copy of Cubase, and I put it on my computer in my mum and dad's house, and I just started making music for the fun of trying to recreate the things I was hearing in those parties, really, with no agenda. And that was how it all started. Yeah.
Great, brilliant. And but the thing is, you were a musician before that as well, though, weren't you?
I did do a lot of live music before. Like when I was a kid, I studied piano and violin a little bit, and then when I went to secondary school, immediately started with some little guitar lessons, and then before you know it, you know, you're jamming with your friends in school, playing Stairway to Heaven solo. The other guy plays the chords. You swap round. Bit of Dire Straits, Sultans of Swing was one of the first solos I ever learned.
Cool.
So love that.
So you used to jam a lot.
Used to jam. Well, I mean, that was a bit of fun, sort of predictable jam when you get into it. But we had a punk band after that for a while. But then the real kind of turning point was when I started discovering electronic music, a little bit before the Psytrance. And it was Chemical Brothers and this kind of stuff. And we started getting together, just doing spontaneous jams, like every Wednesday or Thursday night, and with a group of musicians that were all very good friends. And pardon me. And that was incredible because, you know, you have a jam and it's suddenly, you know, you're meandering around and it hits a spot of gold, and it's the best feeling in the world when you've got like 4 or 5 friends and it all comes together like that. So we really got into jamming in a big way, and then we formed a band called Bonds, which was the concept of that was we used to record these jams. When we realised that they were so off the wall, we thought, let's start recording them. And then, you know, there were some parts of it that were more funky and some parts of it that were more abstract, and you know, there was a couple of us that really enjoyed the funk, and we all used to swap instruments as well, which was really fun.
Sounds great, and that is in a way what we're doing here today, right?
Exactly, it's exactly, we're doing more electronic jamming, what we're doing, but it's the same thing with a different structure. But yeah, it was jamming that led to a lot of things. Yeah.
Cool. So let me get a bit more technical now.
Okay.
If you could have one EQ plugin, what would that be?
Fab Filter 2. Just because it's quick and easy.
No question.
No, I mean, I like other ones. You know, there's, yeah, I do like some other ones. But Fab Filter 2 I just stuck to for the time being for the last few years because it's quick, it's easy. It's got the mid-side, which, you know, has been working a lot for me, cleaning up the mix and everything. So the mid-side function, obviously, with that is a nice bonus. And I know most EQs have that at the moment. But yeah, Fab Filter 2 at the moment is just my go-to kind of like plugin for EQ.
And what about delay plug? What's your favourite? What's your go-to?
Well, go-to's now Echo Boy because I moved to Mac, but my original favourite was, of course, Bionic Delay, because there's something about the way the LFOs or the way the delay filters out into the ether is just incredible and so smooth with that. And I stopped using PC a few years ago and went to Mac, and I've been trying to recreate the same effect on Echo Boy, and you know, I've got pretty close. But there's just something about the algorithms or something, the way they built that Bionic Delay that I do really love, and I do still miss that, yeah.
Cool. And now let me see. What about compressor? What's your go-to compressor?
Compressor, most of the time it's this URS 1980 compressor. It's just a little bundle of compressors. They do other channel strips and stuff, but yeah, I just ended up using, there's a 1971, 1981. I'm born in the 80s. I love everything about the 80s, including the music. So I just picked that 1980 compressor and I just use that for some stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
And go-to limiter?
Go-to limiter at the moment is L2, probably out of laziness. But I do like it. It's quick, it's simple.
It's an old plug-in, but a lot of people use it. A lot of people swear by it, actually.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it works. You know, if I'm trying to flatten out a waveform to get everything louder, you know, I like it for that. You know, it's just quick and it's there and it's in the Waves package. I used to use Voxengo Elephant quite a few years ago now. I like that because that seemed like you could pushed that quite a lot without noticing so much change in the sound. I think maybe it was a bit more transparent than L2. But yeah, no, I just use L2 for the moment. But I am on the lookout for another limiter right now.
Cool, and let me ask you a little bit about what lots of people who make trance want to know. How do you approach making a kick and bass? What's your process?
Kick and bass.
Briefly describe it.
Yeah, briefly. I mean, kick and bass, I'll go to my random kick folders that either, I've made kicks or friends of mine have given me their kicks, or we've swapped folders. So there's X amount of kicks I've used in all my other tracks or whatever. There's folders with kick drums that I've got on my computer if I don't want to make one or whatever. And so, what I'll do is I'll select maybe a few of them that fits the kind of style, the BPM. And obviously, if it's a really slow track, I'm going to be looking for a longer kick, of course.
That's an important point. So a longer kick decay on the slower tempos, yeah?
Yeah, just because, I think for me, I like it to, I don't want a short kick in a low BPM because the shorter the kick, you're not going to have as much low frequencies, are you?
Exactly.
So that's why you can't get as much bass if you're making music at 170 BPM in the trance context with a 16-note bass line than you can if you're doing it at 140.
Right, it's got no actual physical space to fit the length of the waveform.
Exactly, bass waveform doesn't have time to develop.
And it is interesting that the bottom E on a bass guitar, the actual waveform is 12 feet long.
Oh, really?
It's 4 meters long, yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, 4 meters long. So that's interesting.
Yeah, so I'll put some of my favourite kicks that I think will fit the style of the track I've got in my head into Cubase, and then I'll start auditioning some bass samples. Maybe I'll have a couple of synths open, maybe Silent, or maybe... So I do like the ESM, but I don't use Logic on a regular basis, but I do have it on the computer if I want to...
Okay, so let me just ask you, you're going into that question I was going to ask next, which was, what is your favourite go-to bass plug for making bass sounds? If you...
to be honest, I use a mixture of samples and synthesizers really.
Okay.
It would be. I wouldn't like to say which one I use for the synths because it would be. No, it's not a secret. It's just I've had a good one from Silent. I've had a good one from Zebra.
Gotcha.
I've heard a good one from Massive. And like I say, ESM's got a really tight sound if you can get it right and resample it and everything.
Right. So what one thing that you're saying is that if you know what you're doing, you can use a lot of these plugs and you can get a good sound out of any of them if you know what you're doing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's that process. And your sequencer of choice?
It's always been Cubase because that was the first one I started with.
Which model? Which version are you on at the moment?
At the moment, I'm on Cubase 8. I think it's 8.5.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then, I started on the Cubase VST 32, as far as I can remember.
Oh, right, that's way back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Good. So I think that's everything from the technical point of view for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Joe. Much appreciated.
Pleasure. Looking forward to the rest of the day.
So, people of the interwebs, if you found that reasonably interesting, then please hit the subscribe button, smash on the like button, and leave a comment, because I'm always interested in feedback. And it'll encourage me to make some more videos. Thanks for now.